we are going to create our case study in our Figma only, right? How we are going to create it, what else, what kind of content we need, what we know, what we need to put, what we not don't need to put, how to make it better, how to present it better, everything we are going to explore now. All right. So I'm just creating a page, let's say my design case study, right? You guys can also create your own page with whatever type of name you want to put, you guys can put, right? Now what we have to do, either I can press F for fish on my keyboard, or either go to this tool at the bottom. We are having frame, right? So if I click on this one, I have multiple options to create a frame. You can see multiple options we are having here, right? So I will go to the fourth option, that is presentation, and I will click on this slide 16 is to 9, right? This is our very typical frame size to create presentations. Now you must be thinking why we need to create a presentation. We need to create a case study, right? So to create more engaging case study, we try to keep the consistency throughout the each page of our case study, right? Because if there is no consistency in your whole case study, right? So people will lose interest by reading your, maybe by looking at your case study. If from the very first pixel of the case study till the very last pixel of the case study, everything is concise, everything is following the design language, everything is consistent, then people will say, okay, so you have not only worked on the content for the case study, you have also tried to showcase in a very good method, right? But because trust me guys, no matter how good your work is, no matter how good, how amazing your design is, how helpful your research that you have done, till the time you guys are not presenting it properly, right? Because this design field, you can say 70 to 80%, this design field depends upon your presentation skills, your communication skills, and the last but not the least is your selling skills, right? Three things, three extra, or maybe you can say kind of three soft skills you guys have to make is the, let's say, presentation skills, communication skills, and the, let's say, selling skills, selling, or maybe you can say market, right? So these are some of the very major soft skills that you guys should have other than your, let's say, hard skills, right? And under hard skills, you can have, like, let's say, research, and then designing, then coding, and whatever you have, let's say, uh, uh, rest of the things, whatever you have, right? Some things that you guys, some skills that you try to prove yourself. Okay, so yes, two types of skills basically that you guys have to um, focus. Of course, hard skills contains things that you are doing on some purpose. Let's say researching, designing, coding, and some other skills. Right? These are the hard skills. But along with hard skills, you should also have the soft skills. Because see, I have also, I would say, I have also faced this particular issue with me when I was in early days of my career also, right? So I started my career in 2019, you can say. And at that time also, like, I was not that much good in speaking English, you can say. I mean, zero, I would say zero level I was having, right? Because I did my schooling from a local school in a village. Then I went to LPU, Punjab. There, yeah, I mean, a lot of people and teacher were always trying to teach us in English only, but still, till the time you guys are not communicating in the English, no matter how much how much Hollywood movies you see, how much Hollywood series you watch, how much people you listen while they are speaking in English. It doesn't matter till the time you guys are not actually speaking in English with someone, right? By just listening to someone, you cannot achieve this skill, right? So yes, I mean, we were not communicating in the English, so we just wasted our, let's you can say, 4 years. And later on that also, when I got into my first company in 2019 2020, so there were also they were, I mean, I joined my first company in Noida. So I mean, you also know, like in Delhi and North Side, in companies we do not, if it is a startup, we do not communicate in English, right? Again, major drawback for me. But yeah, at that time I was not having this clue that I should have the communication skill that much better. Again, I was having the communication skills in Hindi also, right? When I was communicating my design to the stakeholders, I was good at all. I was good at that. But still, when you have the communication in English, so again, it's a gimmick, you can say, but yes, it is there that people will listen to you, whatever you are saying. No matter whatever the bullshit you are talking about, it doesn't matter. It always matter how fluent you are speaking and what kind of words you are choosing to elaborate your process based, right? So yes, some jargons are there that you have to include in your communication whenever you guys are communicating the designs with the person who is in front of you, right? So yes, if you are not in that environment where people are communicating with you in English, so you have to start it anyway. Trust me, guys. You have to start it maybe today, maybe tomorrow, maybe day after tomorrow. But the earlier you start, it will be beneficial for you at the right. So yes, communication skills has to be there, right? And we did our first exercise, right? We tried to understand what people think for same platform, how different people are using the same platform that we are also using, right? Now you just assume what people wants to listen from you when you are presenting or when you are selling your designs, right? For an example, let's say you are in an interview, in a design interview, right? You have your case study in your front of you. Now you are in the presentation mode, right? You have to present your case study to that interviewer. So now you don't have any knowledge about the interviewer, what he wants to listen, or why he is here, what he is seeking from you, what kind of skills he want to listen, what kind of points he is going to what we say he is going to measure when you are presenting the case study, right? You don't have any idea how you can get this idea basically. What do you guys think? How you will get an idea what a interviewers try to seek whenever you are presenting a design case? So for that, there is a very basic thing that we always do as a design, right? So what we did in this particular activity, the sticky notes one, right? So first, what we did, we try to become a user, right? First, we try to become a user, right? We write down all the points as a user only, right? All these points that you guys, wait a second. Yes, all these points, whatever you guys mentioned here, those were as a user only because you were the user of this particular product, right? So you write it as a user. I guided you through this process, right? What you have to write, how you have to think, and what all data you have to paste it here, right? Pretty good enough, right? Now, the same thing I ask you to do with some other person as a designer, right? So you did the same activity, right? You did the same activity. Now you understood, okay, so these are the things what I try to mention over there. The same thing I am expecting from the user to whom I am asking the questions, right? So first you try to become a user, then you try to ask the question to the user. So it was an easy job for you. So let's assume this that we have not done this activity as of now. right? I have not asked you to do this activity, this the process of this activity. So will you be able to find out the problem from the users? Will you be able to capture the data that you have collected as of now? Might be yes and might be no, right? So yes. So now coming back to the question that I put in the starting of this thing is how you will get to know about the interviewer what they are seeking for. So what could the answer is? You have to become an interviewer. Obviously, you have to put yourself in the shoes of an interview. You can say you have to be there. Keep yourself out there. This is one of the things that I mentioned in my free workshop also. Put yourself out there, and you have to. Otherwise, because we as a UX designers are here and meant to be here to empathize with the user. Empathize means we have to understand the feelings of the user. We have to build the synergy between our designs and the users, and how we can build that synergy just by talking to them, right? So, yes, whenever you are facing any issues related to any kind of thing, related to any kind of problem in your life, no matter is it your design, is it your some personal problem, professional problem, it doesn't matter. Whenever you have to think as what he will do, what she will do, what she might be thinking, what he might be thinking, after you some certain actions, or might be the actions you are planning to do, what people will think, what will be the outcome of this one, what you will do, right? All of the questions that you are not having for today for your actions or for your things that you are doing. So if you try to put yourself in that perspective, so you will get an idea because you know that person, right? So you will get an idea. Okay, so this is how this particular situation can go beyond you, right? So the simplest thing, simplest activity that you guys can do. Now, when you become an interviewer, right? So now here comes the question. Interviewer has to ask the questions to the interview, right? So now, what do you think? From where they are generating the questions? Nothing. They are not generating any questions out of nowhere, right? There are some set of questions that every interviewer will ask you in starting. Let's say they are going to ask you, okay, so introduce yourself, right? This is the very first question that is going to set the tone of your interview, right? So the very first paragraph, the very first set of words that you are going to tell that person is going to set the tone of your interview. Because, so let's say, for an example, someone asks you to introduce yourself, and you started with your name, then your degree, then your first job, then your current job, and the things that you are doing as of now. And you also added some spice of these things to, let's say, you also were a Instagram influencer or maybe LinkedIn influencer. You have did some creative job other than the design with some extra brands out there, some things, right? So now, other than a typical introduction that interviewer might have heard from 100 interviewees out there, but you also added up some extra things that sounds interesting to him, right? So now he's going to put some questions around that. Then you will answer something, then he's going to put some extra questions, then you will ask him something, then he's going to try to relate it with the designing that you're doing as well, right. So how this chain reaction is working, let's say this was your introduction, right? And you gave some introduction out of a small part of this introduction, that guy is going to take another question, right? And then this will become a answer, and from this answer, he is going to pick some word, and you have to answer for that also, right? I mean, hierarchy wise, basically, right? Now, so I think you might got have an idea how good your communication skills has to be, right? So the more precise words you are going to put in your presentation, the more amazing, or maybe I would say the more um, interesting words you guys are going to put in a presentation are going to help you, right? Now, there is no scope of bluffing the things, right? You cannot bluff about the things in an interview or in a presentation that you are talking about, but you have not done any single thing to that, right? Because why I'm saying this, because let's say you answered something, you talked about some, let's say, design process out there. You mentioned about, let's say, Stanford design process, right? So that person is going to ask you this thing only. Now, if by chance he asks you what is the Stanford design process, now you are blank because you have not done anything about that. You just put it there to sound as a cool designer, to sounds that you know a lot of things, but you have not used it, right? So yes, choose your words precisely. Do not just dump any random single word out there that you might have heard from any LinkedIn or from any YouTube video, or you might have read on any LinkedIn post, Instagram videos, somewhere else, right? Do not just put or do not just talk about the things that you are not aware at all. Right? This is where your presentation skills, presentation skills works. Now coming to the last skill, that is the selling skills, right? Selling and marketing skills. Now, this will help you to support the things that you have not done, right? Kind of a contradicting things to the last 2 points we have talked. But now just uh, assume about the situation, right? So let's say in your presentation, you talked about the Stanford design process, just for an example, right? But you have not used this process. What I'm saying is you have not used this process, but you are aware or you have read this process. You know very well about this thing. You know each and every step. You know about the outcomes of this step, of this particular process, right? So now here comes your marketing or selling skill. If you know how you can fit this particular thing in your answer, right, and you can sell that answer to the interview so that he becomes clear to the answer that you are giving, right? So then it comes your selling skills basically. How good you are selling your answers, how good you are trying to tackle the situations that you have not been into, right? So these things, these skills you have to make other than your hard skills also, right? And you might be thinking how we can make these skills and how we cannot. The more you will communicate with a different person out there, the more you will present your designs, the more you will try to get into trouble and try to come out from the trouble with the help of your designing skills, with the help of your communication skills, and with the help of your marketing skills, the more you are going to make these skills brushed up, right? Because I can teach you some techniques out there, I can teach you some frameworks out there, but I cannot make you excel in these skills, right? I cannot make you pro or master in these skills. You can only get amazing in these skills when only you are practicing these things every day, right? Same thing. I mean, I was using my friends to just listen to my presentations. I was using my friends to generate a lot of design ideas. I was using my friends to listen to my resume or maybe my presentation or maybe my marketing skills, X number of things, right? So if you have friends, if you have family, try to pitch them, try to make them understand about your thinking, try to make them aware about the design, the power of the design, the ideas you are creating, right? So from this, you will learn what a non-tech and a tech-savvy person think when you are talking about design process out there, right? Because in a design interview, there can be different rounds, and different rounds can be taken by different person out there, right? It can be a tech savvy person, it can be a non-tech savvy person also. And you have to sell your designs and you have to present your design in a way so that a designer, a developer, a manager, a HR, or a recruiter all should able to understand what you are trying to present, what you are trying to pitch, right? So yes, a lot of things we talked about the communication skills and presentation skills, right? Now, coming back to the very square one, the activities that I ask you, right, other than uh, the sticky notes one, right? So we came up with this idea, right? These things basically, how you can create the problems and the ideas to make the case study, right? So coming back to our case study here is I have just took a frame here, right? And I'm just renaming it as let's say slide one, right? Because we are here to become a presentable designer. So that is why we are going to present our case study in a presentation mode. But we are going to make our presentations in our Figma only. Yes. Okay. So now before starting things, I mean, whenever I start a design, before that, I just try to create a basic guidelines or basic margin and padding for my designs, right? So again, up to you how much um, space you want to take, guys. It is up to you, right? So what I'm doing is I'm just creating a rectangle. I'm sticking it to the left first, right? And I want this much of spacing from left, right? From left to my whole content. I'm saying to my whole content I want this much of spacing. So this is my ruler, right? As you can see, this is our ruler. If this is not visible in your Figma, so what you guys can do, you can click on this menu button, right? You can go to view, and here is the third one, rulers, right? So what you can do, you can just enable it, rulers, or you can press this shift plus R on your keyboard, right? Good enough. So yes, if you hover on this one, as you can see, it is showing some arrow over there. So if you click, hold your click and drag it, now it will have a line over there, a red line, right? So that is done. Now whatever you will place, so you have to, I mean, to stick to this line only, right? The whole content will start from here only. Nothing will go out of this line. Some things can go, but again, it depends what it is, right? So now we have this space. From this, we have this much. Now I will stick it to the right, and I will create another ruler from the right side also, so that my whole content will fit into this width zone. Cool. Okay. So what typically we can have in one particular slide? We are going to we are going to make a very basic slide here, right? So let's say a title of this slide, or it can be, let's say, heading, not the title, let's say heading only, right? So it can be a heading for this slide. Let's say heading is this only, right? Or we can make it a little bit bigger also, 64, and we can make it, let's say, semi-bold, right? So heading is this one. After heading, what we need, let's say subheading also. Here we can write subheading or small description about our slide. Right. So I just write some content over here, and this is what I need. And I can make it, let's say, medium. Right. Cool enough. So we have a heading and a subheading also. Now I want a paragraph. Right. So I will go here. So just wait a second. So I'm just going to Google, and I'm just copying a text, and I'm just pasting it here so that it becomes a paragraph. So yes, I'm just putting some more text over there so that we can make them as a paragraph. And I will increase the size a little bit. This is the body text, you can say, right? And we can create some different paragraphs, something like this. Maybe so. Cool, it regular. Cool enough, right? And what else do we need? So what else? I think that's it. So this is a very basic slide that we have made, right? Very basic slide. So we have a subheading, we have a heading, and we have a body text also, right? Maybe we can make it a little bit lighter so that it has some hierarchy. And let's say this may be, I'm just giving any random color, right? So you can give according to yourself also, whatever kind of color you guys want, you guys can give. Okay, cool. So yes, we have a very basic of our slide. right? Now, just assume this thing. Let's say you have, I'm just duplicating it, right? So you have slide and now let me delete this. And let's say this is, let's make it a little bit bigger and let's call it title of your case study, right? So let's take an example here. So from here, let's say whether I have forwarded this message or not, why there is much difference between her app, how can I prioritize the message notification? Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to copy this content, right? How can I prioritize the message notifications on WhatsApp, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to copy this, right? I have copied it. Now I am going to take help of some AI tools, right? So I do use Google Gemini. You guys can use ChatGPT also. Whatever kind of Gemini or some AI prompt tool you guys want to use, you guys can use. Up to you, right? So yes. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to tell my Gemini to create some amazing title on this topic, right? So what I'm going to do here is create, or let's say, give me up to 5 options for a design case study title that catches the eye of readers and create a hook in their mind, right? My topic is, now I'm just pasting that, right? How can I prioritize the message notifications on my WhatsApp? Because maybe I can prioritize the, maybe I think this is enough. So, right? So this is what we have gave. So let's see what kind of options or results it is going to give us. And just hitting the enter. Okay, cool. So we have these 5 options: silencing the noise, a guide to prioritizing the WhatsApp notifications, not looking good. WhatsApp overloaded, discover the notification nirvana, not good. Customize your WhatsApp experience in notification deep dive, no. Never miss a message, WhatsApp notification simplified, use step by step guide. Not looking that much good, right? So what we have to do is I have to give him another prompt to add some UX designing words to it, right? So how we can do it? I want titles that resonates the UX designing and solving some real life users problems. Try to, or maybe you can say, you can use some UX designing words and terminology if you want. So let's see. Yep, we have some better options here. A UX journey to optimize WhatsApp notifications, UX driven notification design, a WhatsApp case study, reducing cognitive load, a UX perspective on WhatsApp notifications, prioritizing peace, a UX approach to WhatsApp notification overload, right? So yes, if you are not good at the creating the content, so these things are going to help you out there, right? So let's say we are going to use this reducing cognitive load, a US perspective on WhatsApp notification. And so I'm just copying it, going to my Figma and I'm just pasting it here. So that is the you can say title for my case study, right? Or maybe if I want, again, it depends upon my designing skills, how I am designing it, right? So this maybe I can make a little bit smaller, something like this, right? And that's it, pretty much good enough, right? And maybe WhatsApp I can make, let's say, this whole thing, I can give a little bit of WhatsApp color. Great. That's it. Now things are looking good to me because as you can see, right, it is clean, minimal, readable, and the more some extra things you will add here, the more it is going to represent the idea also, right? Very minimal and very simple thing that we have done here, right? Similarly, we have to create all the things, we have to add all the data in a case study. Understood? Now, before we proceed, right? So we are going to discover topics or sections we need to add. Right. So now you must be thinking what data I have to add in my case study. What kind of you can say sections I have to add here, and how can I write it? What should be the ideal process? What should be the ideal what do you call it? A format. What should be the ideal hierarchy of the content, right? So you might be having that questions. So I'm just writing down different sections, or you can say different names of the section. So just wait a second. Design. I think I have this list with me. So I'm just pasting it here instead of writing it again and again. Okay. So here, as you can see, these are the slides that we have that we can put the maximum number of things you can say, right? A heading page, your roles and responsibilities you did as a designer or maybe as something else in that particular project, story about the things, process you use, step by step explanation, user personas, research, surveys, interviews and data, pain points, competitive analysis, scope of the project, user flow chart, information architecture, low fidelity wireframes, design systems, UI component, hell lot of things, right? So these are the I'm not saying the maximum numbers, but yeah, a lot of things that you guys can add in your typical design case study, right? Some of you might be thinking, what are these? What is the meaning of these things? We are going to explore each of these things one by one, right? So don't worry about that. I'm just pasting it here so that you guys will know, or you guys will aware what are all the sections we can add in our case study, right? Now you must be thinking like how we can decide which section I should add and which section I should not add over there, right? So for that we need to come to this thing, right? These are the some typical types of case studies, right? We have a long detailed case study. I mean, where you are putting all these sections in one single case study. You are mentioning about everything, every damn thing about a product. That we call a long detailed case study, right? Then redesigning platform case study, where you are talking about the problems related to design in an existing product, and then you are solving it. Different perspective, right? Then we have third, we have enhancing a feature or a module in an existing application, right? So for an example, like how Mohit father wants it, prioritizing the notification in their WhatsApp. That is an enhancing a feature, right? Or improving the UI UX of an application. So third and fourth are kind of a same thing, right? Then fifth is the UX audit report plus possible solutions, right? For an example, let's say you did an auditing of an application. Auditing, I will let you know what it is, right? It is something just similar to you're just checking the application, and you mention about the problems about a product, multiple problems, and you also mention about the solutions also. This is also can be a case study, right? You did not design any screen in this case study. You try to just uh, deliver this solution out there. You can use the wireframes if you want, right? Sixth, if we have user behavior analysis report, how users are behaving with the product that you might have designed or you might have used, right? That can also be case study. And the seventh is the usability case study, how your or any product is actually usable to different persons out there, different users out there, right? So these are the some typical case study that you guys can follow. And I mean, if we are able to complete one at least one case study, this long case study, right? Rest of the things you will be able to create automatically. But you have to understand and create this case study, right? You have to understand and create this case study. So we're going to do the same thing only, right? Yes. So that's it. This is what we have about the case study, you can say, right? And you guys might be thinking like, why I'm telling you this thing in very upfront, because whatever we are going to do on daily basis, it is going to be your I mean, it is going to get used in your case study, right? Every single thing that we are going and that we are doing on every single day, including the sticky notes that you guys have did yesterday also, right? So nothing will go useless here. Everything we are going to use it. Even the what do you call it? The shapes that you guys made on the very first day, right? That also we are going to use in our case studies, right? So yes, everything will be used, right? Now, yes, I hope you guys understood and how you can create a very basic format of a case study, right? So you guys can also approach or start this approach. Just create a very basic layout for the slide, and the same thing you guys can use in your whole case study, right? So just keep it ready, keep it handy with you in your Figma files so that you guys don't have to wait to get this thing done, right? And try to populate your design case study on every single day, right? And the way we are making the progress, every day you have to update your design case study again, because otherwise you will also lag behind. Your case study will not complete till the even end of these 2 months also, right? And I am planning at least two individual case studies from you guys. I'm telling two individual case studies, right? So the more you will work on the things I'm telling you on daily basis, the easier it will be for you to design two case studies in 2 months. But yes, you have to do it on a daily basis.